Here we are, men's grand final action. It's going to be Hobart versus Glenorchy. A rematch of round 20. Round 20 saw us having a big match up here, top of the table clash. Ronnie's just going to try and get the mic activated here. Starting lineups are going to be Masunda, Inches, Hargrave, Davey and Brown. Meanwhile, it's going to be Boyd, Heather, Adrian, Peach, Liam, Smith, Jack Stanwicks and Johannes Peters. For the men, Roddy, what are you expecting out of this one?
Oh, this is going to be a close game, JB. These two teams have been at each other for the entire season, so expect the likes of Stanwicks and Smith to really push it for Glenorchy. But meanwhile, for Hobart Phoenix, it's the veterans. It's Masunda, Inches, Davey
as well on the bench.
And Dwayne Davey as well too. But the youngsters, Sean Hargrave had a massive game on Wednesday night.
Remind us.
And, young Luke Brown, watch him to be explosive off the bench.
If you're coaching against either side here, Glenn, what are you going to do to try and slow down Terry Masunda? And, I mean, the double tandem of Stanwicks and Smith is dangerous as well.
Good call. Very good call there, actually, from Connor Westwood then. Robbie Inch is very smart, got fouled in the arm, and Boyd Heather put his hand up and acknowledged the foul. I think probably the biggest factor in this game tonight is that Callum Barker is not able to play because he didn't qualify. So that's a massive loss for Glenorchy Spartans. But I think also that Liam Smith's going to take Terry Masunda.
Yep.
Liam Smith's probably the best. I think Liam Smith's the best defender in the league. So it's going to be good to see if he can slow Terry down, who's been just dynamite every game he's played this year.
Average 23.5 a game in 11 games. One thing you'll notice in this game here, Westwood, Johnson,
Woolcock.
And that would be Woolcock. We've got 3 refs for the men's game, 2 for the women's game, which is a surprise. I'm surprised they didn't run with 3. And surprised they didn't run with 3 all year for the senior women. We'll get to that issue. There's Boyd Heather. Flick of the wrist. He had a big social game the other week. As the leading the way at the moment is Robbie Inches. Tossed the other week. He's back. He was tossed in the matchup of this game the other week. However, he's back. Boyd Heather, probably the quickest hands he's ever had. I don't think he's ever played a defensive force like that in his life. Jack Stanwicks heading up the floor, one of the lead scorers in the league. Heading through in the canary yellow shoes. Him and Liam Smith, as you'd know, Glenn, having a big season. And I just wonder whether they take votes off one another in the MVP race.
Yeah, I think that's probably the hardest thing. Jack Stanwicks probably been a standout for the season, I think, as well. But Liam Smith, the way that he plays teamwork, defence and does everything, he'll be unlucky if he doesn't get the MVP as well. So
Boyd Heather with a bailout shot there, misses. Masunda down the floor as we get averaging nearly 24 a game. And Robbie Inches has gone bang early. Veteran experience, Ronnie, really paying off for this Hobart squad.
Absolutely. I mean, Robbie's been around the game forever, and these guys have been in big games before in their careers, so expect them to step up tonight.
Inches, having played at Siebel level, played in the inaugural Siebel Championship for the then Hobart Chargers. Stanwicks got absolutely nothing but air. There's a very stiff cold breeze rolling through down the low, Glen, but I don't know whether that, we can feel it. Ronnie's got icicles on the fingertips, but I don't know whether it's affected the shot that much.
No, I think there was probably a bit of contact before Jack shot the ball then. I think that's what he was asking the question.
Corey Davey
back
from
here, I think in this game is Corey Davey. He's played so well and sets up so many teammates. So that's going to be the bigger thing, whether Glenorchy Spartans can contain him. Just doing all the little things for Hobart Phoenix.
I mean, big matchups here. Masunda on Stanwicks. Probably going to have to Liam Smith and Hargrave, Liam Smith and Inches. It matches around. I mean, Ronnie, from a coaching perspective, you're going to have the internal presence of a Corey Davey and a Cam Brown. Not many bigs there as Smith puts up a prayer and it falls.
Big shot.
But
big
shot.
What
do the Spartans have to do to nullify that tandem of Corey Davey and Cam Brown?
You just be aggressive. I mean, on their offensive sets, they've got to find open shots. They've got to try to, there it is. Good shot by John Hargrave. But right now, if I'm the Spartans here, I'm looking either to attack early. All right, see if we can get Davey into a bit of foul trouble, or bring him out. And that's a good thing, because we've just seen Johannes Peters just get the O board and the tip. And that's what they need to do. Drag the big fella out, opens up the lane.
Hobart controversially splitting a game. That's going to be a long 2 from Inches. That's good as well. Robbie Inches, the MVP of this game, very early on, 7 quick points. But controversially during the game, Ronnie and I called it, Glenn. It was a split game after 9.5 minutes of play. Scoreboard issues. Liam Smith goes inside. Corey Davey not able to do much there. But, I mean, that split decision literally cost Hobart top spot. I mean, they've had an extra game under the belt. If you're the Spartans, how do you take advantage of that?
Well, I think probably the interesting matchups here are that Liam Smith has to take Terry Masunda because he's the best defensive player, and obviously Terry is such a, I guess, an offensive threat. So just as long as, like, you know, during the year, I should say that Liam Smith's held Geordie Hargrave to under 10 points on every occasion. So Geordie Hargrave's already hit a 3-pointer this time, so I think Jack Stanwix has got to make sure that he keeps the defensive pressure on Geordie Hargrave, which I know he can do, but you know that's going to be a big factor as well.
Big game this one. 9-7 our scoreline, 6:20 remaining here in the first quarter of what's been a highly anticipated game. These teams split literally by a split game. I tell you what's going to separate them though, and that's potentially the outside shooting. Ronald, as Terry Masunda has the ball, this is a guy who's a veteran of this league at the moment, a veteran of the sport, 200 games, NBL Seabull level. Geordie Hargrave fouled on the 3-point attempt. He'll go to the line and we'll see how that goes. But where does Terry's future lie in this game? Are we looking at Terry's last game here in the SBL and at senior level, or do you think he'll continue on?
It's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, you know, I think if we were to talk to Terry afterwards, I think he'd give us the stock standard line of, you know, we'll let it sit for a month and a bit and then look at it.
Pre-season, actually, he won't. Just miss pre-season, then I'll come back.
I think it's going to matter too. I think the potential record deal could be costly too, Ronald.
Oh, no, he's
walked out the door. He's done.
He's got a very good music. He's got a very good music career ahead of him. I've seen a bit of his work and he does a fantastic job. So there is life after basketball for him if he does want to go down that route.
But he's also as fit as CJ Johnson, Craig Johnson was.
Oh, yeah.
CJ can still play now at 53, 52 or whatever.
Might I also point out, although CJ remembers James Naismith, CJ was playing with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you know, Artis Gilmore on those Globetrotter trips. So CJ certainly do a different level. I mean, not discounting what Terry's done, but I mean, that senior experience from CJ would have to put him certainly above Terry at this stage of his development.
For sure. Like, I was lucky enough to play with CJ and it was quite amazing. You just put your hands up because you knew that he'd find you. So if you didn't put your hands up, you get probably hit in the back of the head with the ball. So, and CJ comes, like, you know, his brother played for Boston Celtics, one of the greatest players that's ever played the game.
Yeah,
so,
DJ Finals MVP.
And now it's really good, a lot of contact there, but it's really good to see CJ coaching Southern Wolves, and he's now developing the young players for Southern Wolves, and they're going to be a strong club in the years to come. So I'm very happy that CJ is coaching now, and also along with Willie Joseph. So this is, all the young guys now are really getting a go in that local league. And although Phoenix are probably looking like they're a bit old in the tooth with Corey Davey and Robbie Inches and Terry Masunda, but they keep producing the goods.
It's 5:35 remaining here in the first quarter. 11-7 is our scoreline. Hobart leading the way. Robbie Inches coming out firing. And I mean, that's another player we have to ask the question of. Clearly 10, 15 years on Terry as a player. I mean, Terry was only a junior as far as that first Seabull Championship back in 08. I mean, how much longer do you think guys like a Robbie and a Corey have in this game?
I think the thing to take note is Robbie's been out of elite level basketball for quite some time, where Corey kind of went near where Stewie, you know, nearly retired to at Seabull level. So I think because Robbie's had a longer break, he may have a couple more years in him, where I think Corey has to start. He'll start looking at. I think it's a year-by-year process with Corey.
And you can also look at Andrew Beattie, who was a fantastic player.
Oh, yes.
And was playing state league.
Back in
Absolutely.
state league.
But it was playing state. No, last year. He played last year.
The year before, I think he got MVP of the state league.
Yeah.
Capable player.
Reed just gets better and better. He'd love to hear that as well, but he just gets better
he'll
and better
tune
with
in.
age.
Yes.
And the champion bloke as well. But, you know, I remember playing Robbie Inches when Robbie and Andrew Radeye were probably 15, 16. And, you know, we're able to beat these guys, but you could see the potential. And like Robbie,
you knew to get out of the way quickly.
They just never gave up. Didn't matter what the scoreline was. They never gave up. And I'm thinking these two kids are going to be great. Andrew Radeye went in a different direction. He ended up moving away, but Robbie Inches kept going and deservedly, you know, won Seabull championships. And like he's still playing basketball today and doing so well. So it's great to see. And he's got Liam Smith tonight.
Boydo missing that one. Lockie Dennis with a tickle on the shoulder as we went past. We'll try and get an interview with a Phoenix player if we can from the women's side to win that flag. Geordie Hargrave, not afraid to shoot, probably was the other night a bit. As he goes inside, Boyd Heather, almost a tunnel, not called there. Hargrave having a big game last week, Glenn, over 25 points, certainly double-digit rebounds, very physical kind of player. How important is his execution tonight?
I think Geordie might have ended up with 32 last week and 26 about 4 weeks before when he asked us when can we upload the video. And,
He asked, but trust me, he was quick on the blower to get that one uploaded this week as well. Cam Brown inside, and again, another player who just hasn't been capable of scoring so far. Liam Smith now, things really hotting up. Crowd have packed in here, the final game of the 2019 Hobart Senior Basketball League season. Boyd Heather battled injury all year, passes off to Liam Smith. Probably the defensive player of the year, held Hardgrave to 4 points in their last matchup. Jack Stanwick's a front runner for the MVP, has missed that one. Johannes Peters can't clean up, and Cam Brown now with the ball. Passes off to Masunda, averaged 23 and a bit points a game this year. Capable player, potentially on the verge of retirement. We'll see what happens there. You can't leave him open to make that sort of decision. Robbie Inches now with the ball. Benches are Luke Brown, Dwayne Davey, James Newitt, Josh Cunningham, Jack Marston, Daniel Saville, and Connor Smith. It doesn't matter as Cam Brown gets that one to fall. And Ronald, another guy who could have gone both directions, a capable footballer but stuck to his basketball.
Yeah, no, Cam realised that basketball was his first love, and good to see he came back after a year with Glenorchy Football Club. And it's paid off dividends because Cam's been a vital player at not only SCABL and NBL1 level, but also locally here too.
Exactly right. I think what's pleasing tonight is Johannes Peters has really stepped up. He's got a few nice shots in here, but Jack Stanwick has started off a bit slow, but he normally works his way into the game as well. So look for Jack to start scoring and getting his account open soon.
Hargrave to Corey Davey. And for a bloke who has been around the traps for the best part of 25 years at senior level, still is able to get it done, Glenn. You'd remember playing against him. And, Corey's just a guy, he can get it done outside. He's a capable passer. He's able to roll off the pick and really stretch your defence. A tough matchup no matter what, as the foul's been called.
Oh, he is. And I was also, I played with Corey just in a social comp, and, it was really good to play with him because he does open up his teammates. It actually makes it's quite easy to play with Corey Davey because he gets the defensive, he gets double teamed, and then he opens us guards up to score. So it's similar to what's happening tonight.
Absolutely. Time out here, Glenn, as it's 19 playing 11. Hobart Phoenix up by 8. Just quickly to recap the women's final. Hobart Phoenix getting up in that one by a fair margin. We announced the MVP and the runners-up MVP for the Women's League. And they were. So runner-up was Taylor Roberts from the Southern Wolves. She got runner-up MVP. And MVP went to Ellie Collins from the Southern Wolves.
Yeah, they had great seasons as well. They must have been pretty close. Shana Thompson obviously had a great season as well, and whether herself and Kylie McCauley took votes off each other. But, Southern Wolves were the team that were unstoppable until tonight's game when, Phoenix put 7 players on the court and they all contributed.
Yeah.
So it was probably a bit of a shock to a lot of people here for Southern Wolves to go down by such a big margin. But I think that, Ellie Collins had a fantastic season. She's a WNBL player as well. So.
Oh, absolutely. She's playing with the Perth Lynx, and of course WNBL happening all in October. Same with the NBL season as well too.
And so she'll be back over there again.
I believe so. We'll find out a little bit later on. Maybe Joe Bay can confirm. Ellie Collins to Perth Lynx. Was she on a 1-year deal or was she on a 2-year deal?
I'm unsure. I know she was certainly signed last year. I'd have to talk to Ellie to find out, but she'd be very, very close to heading off to training camp. It was this time last year. That's going to be a hip check there on Corey Davey, but it'd be very interesting to see. I have not heard any reason as to why she won't be back there.
Rightio.
No, I think it was a 2-year contract from memory, but
I think it was 2 years, but yeah.
Just quickly, we've got a really upset fan here. Is Dad leaving? And, she's not happy. Dad's going home. Okay. It's unbelievable. We can't have the children like this. Just quickly, have secured at half-time. Dad, you're leaving. She's not happy.
No,
it's not the kid. Question should be who made it. I think it was you. Meanwhile, it'll be Masunda with the ball. Gives to Inches. We've secured Kylie McCauley for a half-time interview.
Fantastic.
A lot of questions coming her way. She's just won her back-to-back senior championship, and we'll see what goes on there. There's Hargrave. No. There goes Hargrave as the Spartans knock themselves out of bounds. So at half-time, we'll keep rolling. We'll get McCauley for an interview and be interesting to see what happens there, Glenn.
I think Brendan Stanwick's really got up his players at that time out then and said, hey, come on, boys, let's not let the league get any bigger and start playing the way we've been playing all year. As Terry Masunda gets a nice basket.
He's got the Russell Westbrook cut going. Ronald will be down on court for most of the last 3 quarters. We'll certainly grab him in the fourth for a bit of thought. We've got to get some photos floating around as well. Connor Smith was the I believe the reserves MVP, Ronald, for the season. He's
Yes.
gonna have an impact. And I mean, just how big a rotation is going to be for both squads tonight.
Oh, it's going to be massive. I mean, if you're
Shot
Glenorchy,
there by Smith.
good. If you're Glenorchy, get subs through constantly where you can. If I'm Phoenix, trying to manage the veterans with their time and then get those youngsters out there. We wouldn't be afraid to see James in order to come in at some stage. Good to see Luke Brown out there at the moment as well too.
I think the big thing is with Cullen Barker out, that's massive for Glenorchy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you'd think that Glenorchy really, Hobart Phoenix are really taking advantage of that.
Corey Davey has thrown a hook shot from about 15 feet that went about 13 feet. He fell short. He's going to head out there. And again, Glenn, you do mention it. Cal Barker literally falling short by a game. No medical excuse there. He did play through a shoulder injury during the year, but nonetheless wouldn't have made any difference. Would have made him up to 8 as Boyd Heather heads out. Jack Marston heads in. I mean,
and the rules are the rules, like, you know, and he took it on the chin as well. Like, you know, it's just one of those things. And hopefully for Glenorchy, the other players were able to step up.
How big is it for someone like a Cunningham? And I mean, Marston has been predominantly the big this year for Glenorchy. Ronald is Stamix takes that short corner, good jumper there.
Nice pass there from Connor Smith, who's really improved this year. Obviously the MVP of the twos, but it's great to see these young guys step up again.
So again, just reaching back there to Cunningham. Masunda takes the three. We've seen that multiple times. Inches has tripped over his own feet. He's not too happy.
I think he might have got a push from Connor Smith.
Yeah, I think there was a slight shove. We got a good look at that from our vantage point.
As Terry can't touch that one again, he's laid the shepherd. 13 seconds is our 12, 11. Hargrave with the ball, wants to take it on, wants to two-hander wham, bam, jam, thank you, ma'am. Terry the bailout shots, missed that one. Connor Smith will clear. How big is it for Marston and for Peach? I mean, Ronald, just quickly looking at Marston, Peach, and for Cunningham. I mean, it's a massive match-up there. Boyd Heather been strung with hamstring injuries all year. He's a stretch four at best. I mean, how do you match up with a Corey Davey and a Cam Brown in that sense defensively?
Oh, it's going to be tough, but they just have to really fight tooth and nail. I mean, in grand finals like these, you just got to put everything on the line as Stanwick throws that one up. The other thing too, I just want to quickly mention, most of these players should be so used to these rims here at Moraine because this is their home training base for NBL 1 and New Zealand NBL as well too. So, so these guys will be familiar with the rims, so neutral territory will not hesitate either team.
Substitution there, Dwayne Davey coming in.
Yeah, and we talked about the experience. There's 5 NBL 1 or Seymour players for Phoenix at the moment. I think they had more earlier in the year when Lockie Boucher was playing, and Ambrose is obviously injured. So
hang on a second. That is arrogance to the level of singing the national anthem before your own prelim final. Masunda was kicked by Marston. That wasn't called. Davey goes inside. I mean, absolute arrogance to the point. Got to get the shot up here. Gives to Connor Smith. That one's going to be good. Good. A very interesting finish to quarter time. Terry Masunda clearing the shoes. Jack Marston sticking the leg out. I mean, boys, what have we thought of this first quarter? Reasonably competitive. Glenorchy went straight through, but Hobart don't look to be impacted, certainly from your perspective, Glenn. Hobart don't look to be impacted by that extra game they've had to play.
No, I just think, as we said, without Cullen Barker being inside, they don't have that inside presence as much as what they probably have had all year. So they've got to. I think if Jack Stammick starts hitting a few shots now, he's warmed up. So hopefully, I think from Glenorchy's perspective, they'll be looking for Jack to score some points as he's done all year. And Liam Smith probably taking people on the drive because he's hard to stop when he takes a drive. So defensively, it's really hard with Corey Davey in the middle. He creates so much for Phoenix.
Hobart.
He's always done it. So whether Johannes Peters or Jack Marston are able to stop Corey Davey, that's the big question, I think.
Sorry to butt in there. I'll continue on that point. Davey can make you change his shot. His defensive presence is going to be huge.
Massively.
So, for Glenorchy, they really got to start knocking down their outside shots. I'm sure, now I can see Brandon Jordan on the board, so they're obviously looking to run something where they can find that open look, Glenn.
Yeah, and they haven't hit, I think Liam Smith hit 1 3-pointer. That's probably all outside shots they've hit so far. And during the year, their games relied on the outside shots, so hopefully, for Glenorchy's perspective, they can start hitting some outside shots. And also, you've got Terry Masunda playing tight defence on Jack Stammick, so they're trying to make it as hard as possible for Glenorchy to get open shots.
So we are underway, term number 2 here from the Moraine Basketball Stadium, senior men's grand final in the Premier League competition as Marston and Inch has got a deflection there and Glenorchy to reset.
Yeah, Robbie Inch has taken Liam Smith, so Phoenix are really trying to work out who they need to stop. I think if Robbie Inches, who's a very smart defensive player, can slow Liam Smith down,
Well, Stanwicks gets that shot rejected by Masunda
Big
there.
block there by Masunda.
Massive block there, Glenn. There's some 11 on the shot clock here for the Spartans as they need to get something going here. Marston nearly lifted up his feet. Smith in turn to Peach. Shot clock at 5. Need to get busy. Shot's got to go up. Stanwicks from the corner. Yes.
Oh, beautiful shot. Beautiful pass. Clutch shot from Jack Stanwicks. He's done that so many times this year, and it's put Glenorchy back to 5 points.
Yes, 23-18 here as we've just ticked on about 40 seconds here as Davey through in the middle here. Goes up strong, doesn't get it to go. Smith with the rebound. Back to his brother Connor, now back to Liam. Now Smith brothers contend here. Now Connor Smith from downtown and gets a piece of the rim. Brown with the rebound. That's Luke Brown, by the way, who's on court at the moment. Masunda down the floor here, putting on some moves.
And that's a mismatch there for Terry Masunda. If they can get Terry Masunda the ball on Peachy.
So Inches pulls up and gets it to go.
He's done that so many times over the last, 15, 20 years. So really good work from Robbie Inches.
Yeah, no, that's a typical shot we see from Robbie throughout our time here. As Peach down low with Davey. Marston in terms Smith. Back to his brother Connor. Connor goes baseline, one-on-one with Brown. Wrap-around pass. Stanwicks with a step back. And why not? Jack Stanwicks knocks it down. As I nearly take out JB in the process.
Fantastic play there from Connor Smith just to penetrate, get the defence off. Jack Stanwicks, nice fake. Gets Terry up in the air and gets a nice three-pointer.
Masunda for the response. Not there. Stanwicks gets the rebound there.
As I said, sometimes it just does take Jack Stanwicks a few minutes to get warmed up, as it does, and then he's on fire. So hopefully, for Glenorchy's perspective, he can continue to hit these shots.
So Stanwicks with it, pulls up and gets it to go. Glenorchy are back within 2, 25-23.
It'll be just great. It's just great to see this talent on the court, isn't it? Like,
absolutely.
I'd be very surprised if Jack Stanwicks doesn't pick up an NBL contract in the next few years, probably next 2 or 3 years. He's only 19 this year, so if he doesn't get one when the Hobart or the Tasmanian team make NBL,
and Brown,
I think he'll pick up one from the mainland.
Brown gets the hook shot there, and I've heard a rumour as well too that Tad Duffelmeyer might have picked up an NBL contract as well too. We'll get more to that later on.
We know who that's with?
We will. I do know the team. I won't say just yet. As Marston, I'll tell you off air, Glenn.
That's okay, because I know I spoke to a couple of NBL.
Well, Stanwicks going from Roria Park, which is the next door.
I know I talked to a few NBL coaches that I'm friends with and I used to play with that, definitely looking at Tad Duffelmeyer. And I talked about not just his game, but the person he is as well, what he can bring to the team.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's just such a gentleman and, and so down to earth. So that's fantastic news, Ronnie.
Yeah, I heard that today, funny enough. So some big news there for Tad Duffelmeyer. Picked up an NBL development player contract, JB, as JB joins us in the commentary box once again.
I've just been hanging out with Boone. He couldn't get a flight to London, so I can't beat his record, but I'm doing all right at the moment. Stanwicks with the ball. 6:43 remaining in the second. 29-23 on margin in favour of Hobart. Gets the dribble there on Masunda, rolls there on Brown. Stolen by Inches. There's that veteran move in the physical, and he's been called. Smith put that up in the car park and missed. And, just been speaking to some of our fellows. Ronnie's going to go to...
Did you need me for one more thing, JB? No?
We just thought we'd say thanks, Ronnie, at the moment. You're heading out for some photos.
I'll come back in the fourth.
Righto, Ronnie's gone for some photos. And, unfortunately, Booney's not available for a flight to London, so I'm going to have to stick here and try and break the record as Connor Smith heads through. Gives to Boyd Heather, the most acrobatic finish he's had in the last 10 years. Has missed that one.
They've got to hit those shots, don't they?
Jesus. Someone time that. Usain Bolt would be jealous at the speed Terry's got at the moment.
Terry Masunda just puts them afterburns on and no one can stop that speed.
Just passed out some congratulatory chips, we'll call them, out to our successful coaches Brad Vanderkamp and Adrian Crespo.
There. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, and that'll go that way. Marston with the ball. The referees have been very on song tonight.
Yeah, no, they have. It was a great refereeing exhibition in the Div 1 women's game. Robbie Inches just asked a question there.
As Inches goes down, Cam Brown contests out. Jack Stanwicks for 3, no good. Johannes Peters has clocked one on the head. He doesn't know what's going on there. 31-23. Hobart senior experience to the forefront. Long 2, Robbie Inches. He's missed that one. Big battle for the boards. No one can get it. Boyd Heather out to Stanwicks. Johannes Peters just giving it there to Inches, who checks him through. Bit of physicality here. Johannes Peters with the ball again, matched up against Inches. Stanwicks now kicks to Smith in Liam. He goes inside. Athletic finish. And again, undersized somewhat at 6'2", but that tremendous length has just allowed him to get ahead of the pack.
It's just so hard to stop when he drives Liam Smith. He can go left or right, and he finished that one off with ease.
Cam Brown averaged near 20 points a game. Going to be in contention for the MVP, no doubt. Had a big first half of the season, tailed off a bit, but nonetheless a defensive presence. Connor Smith, meanwhile, the reserve MVP, he's got the ball as Glenn takes a quick swig for the working man. Smith inside. Cam Brown says no, but the physicality on the drive. 31-25 our scoreline, Glenn, and that 6-point margin as a substitution there. Corey Davey and Geordie Hargrave heading in for Robbie Inches, who's somewhat frustrated. Cam Brown heading out. I mean, 6 points really isn't much, but in the context of this game, I mean, that's still a bit to make up.
Yeah, I think now if Lamb can put these 2 points in, then it's back to, 4 points. So I think Glenorchy will be pretty happy with that. Phoenix wanted a travel then on Liam Smith. It looked a bit awkward, but from here, I'm not sure how he landed. So which one was his pivot put. So I'll leave that one to the refs. And there was obviously a foul, and Liam Smith put both in and back to 4 points.
For once, we finally have a bird's eye view, Glenn. I'd let your free thoughts go for it at this point. Corey Davey with the ball. What can they do? Sack us on the last game? I highly doubt it. Corey Davey now with the ball in the low post. Got a give and go from Hargrave. Got the size match up on Inches. Thought he travelled, on Johannes Peters. Dwayne Dave with that fall-down jumper. Tip round for the ball. Stanwicks will clear with the yellow sneakers. Again, over to Connor Smith. Gives to Liam. A very good duo, this younger brother. And once Connor shoots up, it'll be interesting. A bit of a strip there. As Amanda Kellner is just running across the floor, she's gone off, and the most fully closed streaker I've ever seen. Timeout has been called.
I think it was Amanda Kellner, it was someone else.
No, it's not. It's oh my God, it's Christy Hawkes. I've got to start paying a bit more attention. Thanks for the pick up there, Glenn. 4:39 remaining. It's now a 4-point game, and again, it doesn't seem like a lot, but in the context of this game, I mean, a basket or two lead here has really provided a lot of cushioning for that team with the lead.
It has. I think Glenorchy, are on a bit of a roll now, so that's a good time out just to calm things down. Corey Davies going to talk to his team and just get him to settle down.
Jack
Stanwicks has started to hit a few good shots, and Liam Smith, is offensively on fire, so he's been a lot more aggressive, I should say. So I think Phoenix now are probably talking about how to slow those two guys down, and if they can slow those two guys down, then they've got a good chance to extend this lead. 4:39
remaining here in the first half. At half-time, we're going to have a Kylie McCauley back-to-back grand final winner here for Hobart. It's going to be an interesting topic of conversation. We'll get 5 or so minutes with her, so we'll.
And she had a great game. She had every game I watched her play. She played really well, but also I think Kylie has calmed down in the last little couple of... No, she doesn't say boo to the referees now. I think
older and wiser, so to speak, Glenn.
I think so. And we've got old Adrian Crespin over there again. So happy over there as the reserves coach of the Div 2 Women's Premiers for the 5 seasons in a row. And he's developed some great players in that have now stepped up to the Div 1. So that's really, I think Phoenix women are going to be strong for the next probably 5-10 years now.
From our vantage point, Glenn, a fair bit of stress coming on the scout there, so he might need to calm down a little bit on the coaching there.
He just paid me some money.
Anyway, Lockie Dennis going behind us. He's didn't quite. He qualified for finals. Probably the biggest bloke going in our senior competition. Geordie Hargrave probably got the biggest head going. Luke Brown for 3 has missed that one. Hargrave a competent rebound and wanted that. Masunda just guarding off there. Smith with the ball. Gives to Connor. His brother goes inside. Plows into Luke Brown. And Dwayne Davey, that senior experience on the defensive end and on the boards has really paid off for Hobart.
Good defence. Dwayne Davey's always been known for his defence. Probably the best aspect of his game.
Luke Brown there with the rebound.
Corey Davies, just a nice flick through over to Luke Brown, who's building in confidence. Luke's, I think he's got a couple of baskets now, so it's coming into what it's making into a classic game really so far.
6 points our margin.
Contact there, sort of thing got hit in the head.
40, but it's going to be pretty much 40 points each at half time. Terry Masunda heading through. He's had a big game. Both the Smith Govers go through, and Luke Brown having an impact with the limited minutes he gets.
He has indeed. And Jack Stanwicks got a nice smack in the face down there. However, it was on the blind side of the referee, so he's just got to play through that, unfortunately. Luke Brown's really playing well. He's played well in the last few weeks again, so after the under-16 national titles, he's really stepped up for Phoenix, which is great to see.
Substitution called. Canberra coming in for Dwayne Davey. He's had a bit of an effort tonight, being a part of the coaching panel for all of these games. Again, Hobart making all 4 grand finals. Hobart ball on the baseline. A lot of debate coming there. No, it's going to be a Glenorchy ball as Adrian Peach checks in. Substitution is going to be for Connor Smith. But, I mean, it's been a real Phoenix-orientated night. I know we're the Hobart Senior Basketball League, but I don't think Hobart got the gist that they don't have to be in every game, Glenn.
No, I think that's what they want to do. They want to take them all out. And it's back up to 8 points again now. So, you know, from Glenorchy really want to score get a couple of good plays here and bridge the gap.
As that kick out to Boyd Heather, he loves those ones. Flat as attack, doesn't get it. 2 parts of the rim. Adrian Peach. Peach again, one of those reserves players really stepping up. Johannes Peter stretching the floor, couldn't get that one now. Cam Brown with the ball, 3:04 remaining here in the first half.
That's a big miss there from Johannes Peters. Like, that's a shot that he should be making and has made throughout the season.
As we mentioned, Hobart winning the reserve women. The reserve women and the senior women losing.
Great defence and steal from Lam Smith.
And a big finish.
That all stemmed from down the other end there from Lam Smith. Nice steal from Terry Masunda. Great teamwork from Peachy over to Johannes Peters, and for the 2 points and fouled, and one from and one more bonus.
Some sampling products have just entered the arena, and I tell you what, they're not bad to my taste, beverages and all. We'll get to those later. But, I mean, just quickly, Glenn, I mean, where do the Phoenix stand as a club across the state? I mean, as far as development, I mean, the only club I can sort of think of across the northwest would certainly be Penguin. I mean, Hobart really leading the way in the south as far as developing their juniors, moving them up to senior ranks, and certainly even further than that.
I think more so in the women. Phoenix
for sure.
are doing it. In the men, like, you know, they've got Luke Brown, who's, you know, going great guns. However, you know, like, you look at the court, Geordie Hargraves, travel, good call there. You've got, like, so they're not getting any younger in the Glenorchy, in the Hobart Phoenix men's A grade team, or Division 1 team. I suppose they're not getting any younger. They've got Robbie Inches, Corey Davey, Terry Masunda, but, like, you know, Geordie Hargraves is, you know, he's a young bloke who's got a big future ahead of him. And Luke Brown's got a future ahead of him.
Massive future ahead of Geordie as we see Liam Smith, the bloke who locked him up, nails a 3 on his head. We've now got a 2-point ball game, Glenn. I mean, this is going to be one of those games that, once again, I mean, we've got plenty of memory this time on the SD card, so we should be right there. But it's going to be interesting to see. These teams went to OT last time. They've got a lot of rivalry. As Corey Davey goes inside, he's hyped. He's happy. I mean, these are arguably the two biggest cams in the entire, you know, south of the state, going head to head. I mean, this is what you want.
Actually, in the state. So, and I think you look at the development. We talked about Phoenix. You know, their development. Glenorchy have got a great development program, like Jack Stamix and Lam Smith, Connor Smith. They're all young fellas. They've been in the program now, playing Div 1 since they're probably 15, 16. So, like, you know, Glenorchy have really got a strong club of junior players that are playing in the senior level.
151 remaining, or 145 I should say, remaining. Skip pass there to Stanwicks, keeps it into Peach. Good reserves player, done his bit in the senior. Skip pass, Boyd Heather, former Charger, takes it through, he needs to make it, doesn't. 5-point ball game here, and Hobart just managing to hold on. Gives to Masunda there on the low corner. Actually, that was Brown. Masunda passing to Brown, makes that one, and he's been
Brown's
big.
Had a great season, hasn't he? He's had a fantastic season. He does all the hard work. He's starting to, you know, put the points on the board now. He probably a little bit quiet in the first quarter, but he's come up in the goods in the second quarter, and it's what's expected of Cam Brown. He's just one of those workhorses.
Boyd Heather turning it over. Hobart with a break. They've got 4 on 3 here. Gives to Hargrave. Goes inside. Gives to Luke Brown. Fades away. Good. He's hit big baskets in his minutes here, Luke Brown.
He's done really well. Like, you know, that's what we talk about. It's going to be. I'm sure he'll grow a bit more too with him. You know, with his oldest brother Ben, quite tall, who plays AFL for North Melbourne, a superstar in the AFL. And Luke Brown just wants to get better. And, you know, he trains hard every day, and he's playing really well again.
We've had requests for the Cray fisherman, James Newitt, to get in. He's got the shoulders wrapped up at the moment. He didn't quite get the job done in reserve. Man, Jack Stanwicks has gone down, not happy. Luke Brown going inside, gets Liam Smith in the air, doesn't matter, gets it out of here.
Great block from Liam Smith.
Good defensive players. Jack Stanwicks makes his way up the floor. 33.5 remaining. Substitution has been cancelled by Hobart. They're going to play it out here. Ronald, you've managed to come back up here. He's just going to get his microphone ready. Substitution has actually been called. Corey Davey for Dwayne Davey heading out. I mean, this one's still on a knife edge, Ronnie.
Jack Stanwicks has hurt himself.
As Jack Stanwicks has head out. I think he's just honest, Glenn. If he's not, he's very frustrated. I mean, Ronald, we're looking at probably the two biggest cams in the south of the state, if not the entire state. There's a lot of emotion in this game at the moment. How do you fare it at ground level?
Almost.
Just been down there, and it's quite intense. JB is
a lot of contact.
Yeah, you're right. I must say I was down there for a couple of minutes, and really intense, and they're playing for it. They mean business.
We're here, 5 seconds remaining in the first half. Liam Smith, screen by Boyd Heather, gets inside, goes up, fouled by Cam Brown. He'll go to the line, 2.2 seconds remaining. Glenn will take a bit of a break here heading into half-time again. Kylie McCauley, our feature interview here, half-time in the men's game. 2.2 remaining, Ronnie, 44-33, and it doesn't feel like an 11-point game. It certainly seems like it's back and forth, tooth and nail.
No, certainly not, JB, and it's, Smith knocks down that free throw. It's more like a 5-point game, really, and it's on knife edge at the moment. I mean, Hargrave and Smith don't want to. Oh, here we go.
Hargrave was apparently has stepped outside. One of the foul. He's very frustrated there. 0.4 to go, Ronnie. That if they get a shot up here, it'd be a miracle.
Well, technically the rule is point. If they can get off by 0.3, it will count. So this would count.
No
if it
way.
Goes. It wasn't too near off.
Wasn't too far off half-time. We'll take a break here. Come back with Kylie McCauley momentarily. Better than giving her a drink.
No, you can just give me a few drinks.
Righto.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Righto, here half-time. Kylie, you've just won back-to-back senior premierships. You've had a pretty big season. You've had some calf injuries. You've had a big couple of years, really. You've come back fitter and stronger than ever. I mean, how does it feel to have that hard work pay off, back-to-back, premierships like this? You've had a reasonable season coming off the bench in NBL 1 level. I mean, how does that feel from a personal standpoint?
Yeah, pretty happy. When I injured my calf, it was pretty bleak there and potentially season-ending injury. But yeah, worked really hard with the rehab and all that sort of stuff. Physio twice a week. Lots of support from friends and family helping me with all that sort of stuff, and Max, obviously. So to win tonight, when we're probably the underdogs, is extremely exciting. I'm very, very happy about it.
I mean, you mentioned that from an underdog standpoint. You had a lot of players who really stood up in your absence and Shana's absence, and even coming up from the reserves. I mean, Molly Sinnott played an unsung, third-man role all season. You've got Ebony Collins really stepping up from reserves, Brooke Aitchison really stepping up from reserves. I mean, you've helped develop Eliza Vanderkamp along the way. I mean, how much does it pay off for you to have seen that process come through and really pay off in the end, especially with the grand final win tonight?
I'm really, really proud of Eliza, Brooke and Ebony in particular. Ebony's obviously a veteran, so she's been around for a long time, but her shooting and her defence has been second to none, amazing. Eliza Vanderkamp tonight was just unstoppable. She read the play so well. She cut off me perfectly. I can't wait to watch Brooke and Eliza and the rest of them over the next few years become better.
I mean, what was your thought going into the game? I mean, you've had obviously a struggling. Your better half Dwayne actually scores a basket.
I know, he scored a few tonight, unusual.
He's been playing quite nicely.
He's great.
I mean, one thing this year again, you've got the doubt amongst the calf injury. What's it mean for someone like a Shana, who you've seen come right through juniors, right through to, not only senior level here, but, I mean, she's playing NBL 1 level, she's averaging 18, 19 points a game, capable player who no doubt should be looking at a WNBL contract sooner or later. I mean, what's it meant to you to see her develop and push forward and almost become the senior member of this squad at such the tender age of 18, 19?
I'm so excited to see Shana develop and, go so far. I think I've played with her since she was about 14, and I've been her biggest critic on the court. I've, yelled at her, I've supported her. I cannot wait to see her just blossom and become that next level player. It's all up to her. She's got the skill, she's got everything. I'm excited for her.
I suppose the last big final question we've got, I mean, a lot of doubt surrounding you the last few years, getting up and playing and really making an effort. Are you going to go around not only at local level for another year, but I mean, what's your future hold? Are you looking at NBL 1 again? Are you thinking of focusing local? I mean, obviously your young fellas coming through playing junior. I mean, what's your focus basketball-wise going forward?
I'm a little undecided. So I've been playing a fair bit of footy the last few weeks and love it. So little undecided. We'll see what happens with the NBL one over the next, I guess pre-season, and I'll make a decision then. But yeah, I'm kind of fit and in a reasonable condition, so we'll see what happens.
Suppose we get the closing answer here from Jack. Jack, your mum's been playing good basketball. She's been dominating football. She's put you in a severe shadow at this point. Should mum keep going forward, or do you think she needs to put it on the back burner a little bit?
She needs to quit. She's not that good anymore.
Wow, he's just told mum to quit. Kylie, thank you very much for joining us. No doubt a couple of quiet lemonades once or twice. Glenn just wants one final quick.
I just think that Kylie was probably the difference for Phoenix in actually winning it, the way that she was able to slow Taylor Roberts down tonight. And just, I think when Kylie gets the ball, she gets double teamed and she opens up the younger players. So the development of the younger players for Phoenix has been phenomenal. And I think that comes from Shana Thompson and Kylie McCauley. And for the next probably 5 years, they're going to be really strong. And Kylie might not have a gig in 5 years' time.
Hopefully I'll be kicked off the team. I'll have to retire.
She seems quite happy about that. Kylie, we'll leave you to it. Thanks very much. Enjoy the win. No doubt a couple of quiet lemonades later tonight. We'll see you around. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
There we go from Kylie McCauley. And as we get back to second half action, we'll wrap that interview up here at the timeout. Robbie Inches takes a long jump shot, misses that one. And things really heating up here. 13 points to Hobart, Glenn. You've been down on ground floor there in the halftime break. I mean, what sort of atmosphere are we dealing with?
Oh, it's really good downstairs, actually. There's a lot of talk. It's just a matter of whether Glenorchy can actually slow Phoenix down. I think it's really, without Callum Barker, as I said before, they're just probably not the same team that they are in general.
Technical foul called. That one's very quick. That one is on Liam Smith for a technical. I don't know what's gone on there, Ronnie. It was reasonably emotional there towards the second quarter. Liam is not one to shy away from sharing his opinion.
No, certainly not, and I think sometimes emotions can get the better of you in grand finals, and you do pay the price for it. We saw that today in some junior semi-finals where a few boys got teed up for just slipping the F word, unfortunately, which is not what we condone, and we certainly never condone swearing on a sporting field. But I'm sure he'll be right.
Ronald, I've played sport, you've played sport, Glenn's played sport. It's not that we condone it, it's done sometimes as a freedom of expression. It's somewhat necessary. As Stanwicks misses that one.
Who did we say the tech was on?
It was on Liam Smith.
But Glenorchy shot.
Or was it on...
Okay, so it's obviously on Masunda. I apologise there for Liam.
I was just thinking, am I watching the same game?
No, I thought that was a little strange as well because Glenorchy will maintain possession there.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't want to...
We're hearing from our cameraman Felix, it could have been on Robbie Inches.
Well, I saw number 4 signalled. I saw number 11 signalled.
I thought it was a number 1.
Right.
One somewhere. So it was obviously Robbie Inches.
It could be Robbie Inches. But apologies to Liam Smith. We're just berating him on commentary. Either way, a surprising technical. Tangle after the basket. Masunda comes down the floor. Hesitation dribble. Pop, lock, stop. Good. We've seen that time and time again. And Ronnie, signature play from Masunda, who's held that for the best part of 15 years.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably 20 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
And he's only about 30.
At senior level. At senior level.
But that's his go-to. And look out here. Phoenix are going to be on a mini run here.
Yep, there we go. Bull Stanwick's not looking for the timeout. Doesn't have a coffee in hand tonight, which has been surprising. Bull, the other winning coach here, reserves men getting it done. Hobart up by 19-point margin here, Glenn. We've watched most of these games together all year. What do the Spartans have to do? Stanwicks has been shut down. Smith isn't contributing where he needs to. Defensively necessarily. Cal Barker's not there. What do they need to do?
I think Robbie Inches has done a really good job slowing down Liam Smith the best he can. Liam's always going to score points, but I just don't think he's getting as open as what he usually does. And that probably comes down to Callum Barker, who's scratching his chin over there on the bench thinking, I wish I was on court.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those feelings that you want to be out there, but
Robbie Inches fouled. That'll just be a tooth. Yeah, that was a general defensive. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'll continue on that point with Barker. Yeah, he'd be feeling shattered not playing in this grand final.
One game out.
Because one game out, and
and being in America playing college basketball at NCAA level 1.
Bradley University.
They're the rules, and he, as you said when I first saw him when he came in, he accepted that, and the club accepted it, but it's a big loss.
It is.
Shout out to Kai Woodfull, who played 4 games in Launceston and got the exception to play. Robbie Inch is now standing on the foul line.
That is true, Glenn.
Absolutely.
Yes, that is correct.
Kai Woodfull playing 4 games, got the exception to play finals. Brett Smith, assistant coach of the Southern Huskies, one of the coaches there in the final. Timeout has to have been called. It has.
Yep.
That'll go to the Spartans. They're down 21 halfway through the third quarter. Hobart reacting from their bench. Seem like they've got it up, Glenn. I mean, what do you? If you're in the Hobart camp here, you're up 21. You've still got 6 minutes remaining in the third, all of the fourth remaining. You've got to try and keep complacency out of your game. How do you keep pushing forward?
Do. And Corey Davey, he's an assistant coach at NZNBL level. So he's a very smart coach, a very smart player. So he just wants to make sure that they slow down Glenorchy's run and make sure that Jack Stamix doesn't get any open shots or Liam Smith doesn't get any open shots, because if they're open, they don't miss. So it's I think defensively, Corey he knows he's got the offensive firepower.
Yep.
And defensively, if he can slow Glenorchy down, which they've been able to do,
Yeah.
that creates the offense.
Oh, it certainly does, Glenn. So, I expect Glenorchy to make a bit of another run here and see if we can just get that margin just, back down to what are we at the moment? We're 19? 19, they're 21.
21 points.
21. So if they can get on a bit of a 10-8 zip run, I mean, that makes things interesting.
Yeah, I think now after that timeout, Glenorchy would be looking at getting down, trying to bridge the gap to 10 points by three-quarter time. It's going to be a tough task because Hobart Phoenix are playing so well.
We'll see what happens as Smith goes up rejected by Davey. And Davey gives him a bit of a stare there as well too.
It looked like there was a fair bit of contact on Liam Smith's arm there, but he doesn't say anything to the refs, which is really good. Yeah. And Corey Davey, that was great defensive play by Corey Davey.
Yeah, Davey just coming up with the big moments here in this grand final as Stanwick's one-on-one with Masunda. Good hands by Cam Brown coming in on the defensive help there.
And that's great. I think Phoenix have really, really done their scouting for this game tonight. To slow Jack Stamix down, who is just an amazing offensive player.
And off the ball foul here beyond Corey Davey. Gave Jack Marston a bit of a shove there, and it was enough for referee Jack Wilcox to call foul there, and Glenorchy to get it back on the baseline.
Yeah, Corey wasn't real sure about that one. However, there's a lot of contact, and it's great the referees are, going to call that early.
So Smith, now Stanwicks,
great play by Stanwicks.
Through couple, and with a miraculous reverse, Jack Stanwicks gets it to go.
Yeah, Jack Stanwicks can score from anywhere, and that was a beautiful under the basket, left-handed sort of, I don't know what it was, whether it was a little hook shot, I don't know what it was, but it looked pretty good from here.
Yeah, how did he get to the other side of the rim? That's what I want to know.
Just hang time that I never had.
Very true. Well, I'll agree with that. Brown, meanwhile, knocks down the jumper.
Cam Brown's played a great game, as he's done all season as well, so I'd really like to see Liam Smith really take Robbie Inch's one-on-one as he's doing now.
Yeah, Smith on cue for you, Glenn, and gets that one to go. Liam Smith will go to the line for one. I think that's going to be called on David. Sam Yule comes through our commentary position. He
very
says count that.
Player.
We sure do, as Liam Smith will go to the line for one.
And Liam Smith is a very exciting player. He's just grown in stature so much the last couple of years. So, and Brendan Stanwicks has so much faith in Liam, and Liam can take anyone one-on-one. So, great three-point play there from Liam Smith. They've just got to get a couple of stops, Glenorchy do, to bridge this gap.
Absolutely. 18s are marching, 58-40, about 4.5 to play here from the Lorraine Basketball Stadium as Davey now to Brown. And Phoenix getting through a few screens there, trying to get Inches open. Brown still with the ball carrying duties. Opens up the lane. Davey, nice 1-2 punch and a good foul there by Boyd Heather will send Cam Brown to the line for two.
Cam Brown's really stepped up. I think what the best thing about this year is for Hobart Phoenix and for Cam Brown as an individual is he's really looked at becoming an offensive threat. He's such a team player in general, and always has been. He does all the 1% stuff, but this year he's really stepped up, and he must, I don't know what he's averaging, probably 18 a game.
Probably about that, Glenn.
Yeah. So it's really great to see because he's got the potential. He doesn't get to shoot that much in the NBL1 Hobart Huskies because he plays as such a team-orientated role.
Different role, team role.
But it's great to see that he's got the potential, and he's shown us that he can score the points when he needs to, as he did for Penguin when he played in the NWBU and they won a couple of championships when he played with them. So good on Cameron Brown.
Yeah, Cam Brown, a very integral part of that Penguin Blues team. As Smith put up the shot, Masunda got the rebound, gave it off to Davey. And Davey up the floor quickly to Inches. Inches down low to Brown, back to Inches, thought about it, goes to Dwayne Davey. Now Brown at the corner, shot clock at 9 as Phoenix needs to get busy here. Brown puts it up. Now that's going to be a foul.
Oh, he's called a jump ball.
And a jump ball. Oh, no, jump ball's
Robbie
been
Inches
called.
must be thinking, oh my God, on that one.
So timeout has been called as it is 60 playing 40 as JB has rejoined us here in the commentary box.
Robbie Inches just smiled, then he blew he just sort of, what do you say when you can't believe a call, and he's just
Bewildered.
Yeah, bewildered. There we go.
And held his own after getting attacked the other week. So
yeah,
he's a mature player, and he didn't get attacked then.
The vocabulary seems to expand the longer the night goes, gentlemen. So we'll see how that goes.
Good grief.
Having spoken to referee Jack Marston briefly there, it was a verbal technical.
Referee
Jack Marston? Jack Woolcock.
I said the vocabulary expanded. I didn't say how far names and people are stretched, gentlemen.
Even our cameraman can't believe it.
We'll continue on with this.
Good grief.
Anyway, the technical was given by referee Jack Woolcock on Terry. It was verbal.
Oh, it was on. Yeah, okay.
It was verbal.
There we go. So it was on. So apologies to Liam Smith.
Yeah, apologies to Liam Smith. It was on Terry for verbal. So that's what that was. The feeling at ground level is this one's pretty much. There's not much atmosphere to it. I was down there talking to Nikki Green, who's actually still around, Ronald.
Yes, that's quite interesting. She's still around, actually.
Nikki Green, the double-double machine for the Hobart women. She's actually sitting just around the corner there.
She's just hiding,
She's
J-Bo.
watching the game. Alex Finlayson's here, so was talking to her as well. And the sense at ground level is this one's pretty much done.
I don't think this game's over.
Well, ground level suggests otherwise. They just feel the Spartans, haven't hit their mojo. Physical play like this, battering around with the ball, easy turnovers, has just really cost them. Hargrave now with the ball. He played really well the other night, but don't tell him that because he asked for the highlight film.
Geordie's actually gone quiet after the first quarter tonight. I think he did the damage early for Phoenix and set him up for this 20-point.
Well, the question then becomes, though, in setting the tone early, hitting shots, getting the right players, I think he's
turned it over.
And he's just turned it over.
Yeah.
I mean, he sets the tone, he comes out and he plays well. I mean, Geordie's one of those guys that his peak is arguably the best in the league, but the problem is he has nights where, he scores 4 to 6 points, he lets his emotions get the best of him as Liam Smith hits the shot there. I mean,
Liam Smith seems to have his number all the time. Liam... offensively, defensively, Liam Smith is now on Geordie, and that's probably why he's quiet. I'm not sure how long Liam's been on him for, but he hasn't scored for ages. So.
Fairfield inflatables available for hire 24/7. Ronald, as a coach, I
like Geordie. I think Geordie's a great player. I've been working out with him this year, and he can shoot, man. He can shoot.
I think we'll be heading to Murray Povich for that accusation. I mean, just quickly, how do you work with someone like a Hargrave who, as Connor Smith takes this sort of three, misses that. Marston throws Davey to the floor. They've missed that. More physical battles. And there's that battle for the rebound. Hargrave's not letting go of that. He gets it back. Dwayne Davies hit the floor.
Geordie Hargrave, I must say there.
Can I quickly mention, and I think I know where your question is
How do you deal with a player who can peak out at 30 and 10, but can have nights of 6 points, technical foul, and off his game? And as a coach, how do you manage that?
Having coached Hargraves before and being involved in that experience, it's one that you got to tread carefully. It's one that you got to tread carefully. So
I
think you got to have a professional mindset and not allow personal opinion get in the way. So for me, it's more just making sure that he's calmed down. He's
focused on his role.
You know what? In saying that, the other week he had a bit of a tangle with Sam Newell last week, and he got pulled off, and Adrian Pui actually talked to him on the side, then he come out and just bombed again, so he got a bit upset. Pui said, calm down, mate, calm down, and he had a fantastic rest of the game, so you're exactly correct there.
Yeah,
he needs to be coached. He's a player that needs to be coached, and if he's coached well, he does well.
Yeah, I mean, as we see that there, 2:08 remaining, 60-43 is our scoreline, 17 points, I mean... Your Bull Stanwicks, 17 points. They haven't got 51 on the board. You've got to score over 30% of your score and hold them scoreless. I mean, the defence has held up all year. No Cal Barker since the lineup here, so it's a big defensive change. Robbie Inches, another player who, to me, Robbie at this point to me probably has to be sitting in MVP candidacy. To start with you there, Glenn. He opened up the game early. He's brought that veteran experience. He slowed the game. He's brought it up. Terry's been a star all year. Cam's been a star all year. Geordie's been a star all year. Everyone's contributed. That smart pass there as Terry nails a basket. But Robbie Inches, to me, has to be the MVP of this game.
Oh, so far he has indeed. I don't know how old, probably 35. He's not that old, really, but his body...
He's just been around for so long.
He looks after himself, and he's just so smart. He makes good decisions. He boxes out. He just reads the play so well, and he's such a team player.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think those years of experience that he's had is paying off dividends now. And then you've got someone like Luke Brown, who's not afraid to put him up, and he's got a long career ahead. Yeah, got a long career ahead of him. I'm pleased that I'm getting to coach him at the moment in our junior league at the moment, but he'll be one to watch going forward, where Inches will be slowly drifting away in the next few years.
And that's a good transition. The passing on the experience is exactly what you're saying, Ronnie.
Absolutely.
And I think that's also for the Hobart Phoenix women, how now they're passing on that experience to the younger girls, and it's showing.
I don't mean to interrupt here, but Ed Sheeran has just scored a basket on a bloke who looks like Russell Westbrook. That's unbelievable. That's another short corner basket. Robbie Inches getting it done here. 35 seconds remaining in the third quarter. It's a 19-point ball game. Spartans down 45-64 to Hobart. A bit of a tangle on the screen there. A lot of physical play from Hobart. They managed to steal the ball. And I'm actually confused here. I thought Stanwicks was the one out of bounds. Hobart arguing the question. A very Hobart crowd. In fact, 50% of the crowd tonight has been Hobart. Stanwicks now with the ball. 29.9 remaining here to inbound the ball to Saville. Saville going to get the shot unable to. Smith with the ball guarded by Inches. Takes the three. He's not afraid. He's missed that one. Again, crucial shooters missing shots, Glenn.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is, we talk about Callum Barker being out, but he's played the last 8 games and they've really gelled. So to take him out of that picture,
kill some chemistry.
Where you've got probably 15, 16, 17 points and 20 rebounds, and also another player that has to be defended. Really, he usually allows big foul there from Liam Smith. But Callum Barker on the court for Glenorchy allows Jack Stanwicks and Liam Smith to be open a bit more.
Absolutely.
So that's the big difference in tonight's game, I think. Jack Stanwicks and Liam Smith have had a fantastic season. They're playing as well as they can tonight, but they're down a big man. So, and I think also in defensive, Jack Marston and Johannes Peters, they've played all right. Actually, they've not done too bad considering Callum Barker's out.
Yeah, I don't think they've kind of stepped up into that role and trying to fill Callum's spot. So
but they've got to go against Corey Davey, which is tough.
Yeah, which is tough. But you've got to give Stanwicks will go for the three-quarter time buzzer beater. Three-quarter time sees Hobart Phoenix leading by 20, 65 to 45, and yeah, I mean, they're trying their best. I think maybe just not that enough veteran of players. I think for Glenorchy, but they're building for the future. They'll be a team to beat going forward.
And I know Rodney Graham, really well. He's a good friend of mine, and they run the Sunday night competition at Moona, which is very successful, and a lot of teams in there. And they're not looking just for now; they're looking for the next, 10 years. So it's really good. And I think there'll be a revamp of probably the Div 2 team. I think they'll probably run. I reckon in the near future they'll probably get Jai Smith, who coaches the under-18 team, in to probably bring in the under-18 team, under-18, under-20 team up to play in the Div 2. So
absolutely.
It's just a pity they don't have a Div 3 team still.
Yeah.
So, but here we have Shana Thompson.
She's averaged 40
the gun.
She's averaged 40 points on the season, 41.5 or whatever it is a year. You had an injury during that game, rocking slides, and probably should clean the toenails nonetheless. You've had a pretty big game there, Shani. You had a finger injury. What was the issue there?
Just a little.
Yeah, lift that up, please.
That's better. Jar to the finger, I think. It's a bit swollen, but pushed through it and got the win, so it was pretty good.
Foul there looked like beyond Matt Stanwicks. Didn't count. I mean, how does it feel? Back-to-back championships there. I mean, essentially the leading scorer on both of those. How much have you relished this senior role amongst the team at such a young age?
I think it was a great experience for me, as usually I'm one of the younger kids in the group. So taking on a senior role this year has been awesome, helping out with the younger girls. And as you've probably seen, we're probably one of the youngest teams in the league. So I think it's pretty good for us guys to come out with a W tonight in the grand final.
Robbie Inches with a big three there, probably sewing up his MVP candidacy. I mean, you had a massive game yourself, set the tone early, lots of big threes. I mean, you're combining there with Kylie, who had a lot of injury experience, but I mean, how much was it for you to have someone like an Ebony Collins Brooke Aitchison, Eliza Vanderkamp hitting big shots
Yeah.
and not having you need to average 40 to win a grand final.
I think it's definitely great to get the weight off your shoulders, thinking yourself that your teammates can knock down shots when they're open. So that was really great for me, for like Ebony, Brooke and Eliza to just come down and knock threes when they're wide open. So it makes it easier for us as a group as well when they can knock down open shots. So I think it was great for us.
Just one final question. We asked Kylie this and she was a bit timid on the answer. Do you want to see her go round again, or do you think it's time she hangs it up?
Nah, she's definitely coming back for a couple more years. Yeah.
A lack of responsibility there from young Shana. Thank you very much for the
Thanks,
interview.
Shana.
Thanks,
We'll
guys.
leave you to a cruiser or 6. Back to Glenn here with the microphone. Glenn, we're nearly all over here. 21 points here. 8:30 remaining here in the fourth quarter. And it's almost all over Red Rover.
Yeah, it is. Robbie Inches is really stepping up to the plate again. Just hit a couple of big shots for Phoenix, as Terry Masunda did as well, and Liam Smith is and Jack Stamix are still trying valiantly for Glenorchy Spartans.
As we go down the ball here, Stamix with the ball, 73-49 our scoreline. We're at 24 points our margin. As Boyd Heather with the ball, skip pass out there to Saville. We found love right where we are. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for Danyon. He's skip past here. Ron Weasley couldn't win Guardian Leviosa. That thing into grip. He's missed the ball.
And it's funny, the defence is it's almost like a triangle boxing two.
Yeah,
It's bizarre.
It's
I
very
don't know
bizarre.
if anyone's ever talked about that, but Liam Smith and Jack Stamix are being defended so tightly by Liam by Robbie Inches and then Jack Stamix by Terry Masunda, and then the other three players are just sort of relaxed a bit. So it's a great defence by Hobart Phoenix to slow these guys down and really make them earn their points. And
as you say, Glenn, I think Hobart have done a terrific job on scouting, because they've really shut down Glenorchy tonight. This is the first time I've really seen Glenorchy in this predicament.
Oh, exactly. And like once again, we talk about Cullen Barker not being there, and I think that's probably the biggest difference between 75 and 49 point line is not having a legitimate centre on court.
Meanwhile, Smith on the back door there, Chobo.
He's missed that one there. As Lockie Dennis goes past again. He's the big fella stepped in.
Shout out Samuel Ewell, best point guard in the league.
You've heard it here first.
The thoughts and views of Clarence don't reflect the thoughts and views of
The West Coast Ball Connection.
the West Coast Ball Connection. Sam, you're the best point guard in the league. Sam.
Sam Ewell with a head fake.
Did you hear
Hurts my
that?
neck every time he does a head fake. Because if it ain't this out, it's like, oh!
Who? He learnt that off Terry. Teacher must better than the student. Anyway, we'll continue
Sam
on.
Ewell should be in the Bollywood acting class.
Needs to be in Bollywood. Glenn needs speech therapy. Meantime, Glenorchy with the ball out of the paint.
I said Bollywood.
Stumbled 3 times. That's all right. So the bloke up the stairs at the front of the hairdressers of the day. Connor Smith with the ball for 3. Takes a 3-point shot there. Missed that one. Rebound by the teacher himself. Showing the young Grasshopper how it's done. He's thrown that one away. I believe that's off Robbie Inches. And
Robbie
they've given
Inches never
it.
gets
Hang
a
on a
call.
second. They've actually give this.
Should be Phoenix.
It is, but I thought it was off Robbie Inches.
I think
so
come off Peachy.
interesting
down the
look
bottom,
there.
I think.
Shout out to Bridget Vanderkamp, our great sponsor of lunch tomorrow night. She's tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. The vocabulary getting better. As Davey passes Luke Brown, this will end it. He's missed that one there. Score is 26 points. I don't see it coming back from here. To score 26 when you've only got 49 on the board, almost impossible.
I don't think
Glenn.
so. Yeah, and I although the scoreline's 75-49, it doesn't reflect the way the game's been played. Like, it's still actually exciting
It's
to
been
watch.
intense for the entire
It
game.
has been. Yeah, it certainly has.
Shot there by Adrian Peach, and surprisingly enough, a lot of the reserves player, Ronald, really stepping up and doing a majority of the work here for the Spartans.
Yeah, they sure are, JB, and it's good to see. I think when you have those numbers in your two teams and can definitely double up, then I think that's great. So it's a credit to them that they're really working double overtime tonight, and you probably deserve a good beer afterwards.
Liam Smith losing the handle. That's going to be a pump fake there. Cam Brown heading away there. Ronald's camera battery has actually gone flat. So
Hey,
he's going
the
to be
big
stuck
question
there.
tonight is, though, Ronnie, the big question
yeah.
tonight is Adrian Goosty going to get on the court?
Well,
No, he's not. He's not qualified. He's only there as a coach. Played 4 games, so no, he won't.
But he's been sat on the bench for 25.
That's all right. Doesn't matter. We're just trying to get some verbal there. Ronald's sneaking
yeah, we're
out
just
of the
trying
way.
to get verbal with Eliza Bandcamp here.
What?
How are you?
I'm good.
How did you feel about winning 2 premierships tonight?
Ronnie with a really.
She's speechless.
That's the first.
Because you don't play.
You're speechless, aren't you?
Yep.
Righto, Ronnie. Thanks for the
Righto, there we go.
Thanks for the intervention. Shout out to Bridget and Brad who gave no consent for their daughter to talk there. 75-51 again. We're at 24 points. 6 minutes, 6 seconds remaining here in the fourth. all over Red Rover at this point, gentlemen. I really don't see some sort of comeback unless BJ Radcliffe manages to get out on the floor. I mean, what do you take out of this if you're the Spartans? I mean, heading into next year, Cow's probably going to be more readily available if he's not heading further along his career path towards the WNBL or certainly staying at Seaboard level. I mean,
Well, hopefully he doesn't play in the WNBL. Hopefully it'll be in
the
the NBL.
NBL, that'd do too, wouldn't it? Yeah. Jeez, that's not a good
I
look.
know that Callum Barker went to the
He went
Future
next-
Stars.
Next gen
gen.
camp.
He's a fantastic player, but he's such a role player. Probably I guess I could say it's a bit like Hugh Greenwood. The bad thing is that he and Hugh Greenwood are such good team players rather than worry about themselves.
Yeah.
And I Cal will pass it off before he shoots. So if that's a negative for Hobart, it's great because. But I hope Callum Barker gets a lot more minutes in Hobart NBL 1.
Shot there by-
He didn't last year.
Boyd O'Heather
Boydo!
hitting a big shot. Last big shot he hit was a couple of weeks ago, according to Beatstone, in a social league. We're back to 21 points here, and again, it's going to be interesting to see just how they
yes,
fix it up.
Luke.
Luke Brown working his way inside to the joy of the Hobart crowd there. They're going to win 3 of their 4 grand finals tonight. A domination by the Cam. Whistle is gone.
Offensive foul here, JB.
That one's probably going to be on Adrian Peach.
Yes, it is for the hook.
Connor loved making that call then. He really reenacted it like...
Robbie Inch is wanting the ball there. They can get it. Peachy's not giving him an inch.
No, bit of mind
Connor
game there.
Westwood's very fair in what he calls as well. So, it was obviously pretty obvious for him to make that call.
Yeah.
As we continue on down the floor, 5:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. Robbie Inch is the MVP of this game. Opened it up and has really hit some big shots in the fourth to close it out. There's another. That's all it is. Robbie Inches has to be the MVP, and I don't know anyone in this commentary booth who disagrees.
As I said 20 years ago, I remember playing against Robbie, and I just saw this courageous little kid. I'm thinking, he's going to be good, man, and just every aspect of his game, he just gave 110%, and it's still good to see that he shows 20 years later.
And I think since he's back now, would that be an unsportsmanlike triple whistle?
It has to
by
be
referees?
It has to be pretty close.
Let's have a look. Normal foul.
It is.
Normal foul.
I don't think there was a play on the ball though, Ronald.
For Robbie Inches now, what is he, 35?
Oh, something like that.
And
but
he's
I was
playing at this level. This is fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. I was just going to say, as I said, the break that he's had has paid off dividends.
It has
he's come
indeed.
back fresh, and he's still got the touch.
And interestingly enough, only played one game against the Spartans all year due to work. So Hargrave goes over the back there, no foul called. That'll be in the way of the Spartans ball there.
I think it was due to...
usually due to work commitments.
I think it was due to...
Was it due to work?
Parent-teacher or something like that.
Due to
Something
work
really,
or family or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was great.
I must
great to see.
I mean, I must point this out though. I mean, Ronald, from a coaching perspective, you played against a guy once. I mean, we know Robbie's capabilities, but you've run 2 separate structures as a year for the Spartans with and without Cal Barker. You come into a final without Cal. You haven't had a great deal of time to work on Robbie as a game. I mean, has Robbie really been the X factor no one's worried about in a sense?
Oh, I think so, because on this Phoenix team, there's just too many to worry about. You got guys like young Hargraves, you got young Luke Brown, you got Cam Brown who just can sneak.
We've
poor old Connor
Adrian,
Smith.
sorry to
Just wore
interrupt,
that.
but Adrian Peach has just punted that from the 50-yard line straight through the headband of
Still
Connor
thinks he's
Smith.
playing for Glenorchy in the
TSL.
in TSL.
Just quickly back to that, but I mean, the effect that Robbie's had on this game clearly hasn't been, I would say, not necessarily a lack of scouting, but I mean, it's hard to account for a guy who's played once in a 2-system team.
Yeah, it is, and I really think that that goes for Cam Brown.
Barreled his way inside there. Cam Brown going for the and one. 4:18 remaining. It's a 26-point margin. I mean, this Hobart side really hasn't put a foot wrong and very limited to no minutes in the favour of Terry Masunda tonight.
And when you've got Terry
specifically in the fourth.
Masunda sitting on the bench, it's really good to see everyone else stepping up. It's not often that you get Terry Masunda actually subbing off.
Yeah.
I can't remember him
There's
really
only one
subbing
reason
off.
Terry subs off, and that's because the game's over. And considering they're
Pretty
29 points up, 4:18 remaining, yibbity, it's over.
Yes, I think fair to say, JB, definitely is Smith with the ball here now, and good double team by the Brown brothers. The Brown brothers will connect here. Brown to Brown once again, and the Brown brothers, if you don't mind, get that one to go.
A quality wine and a quality tandem, Glenn.
Cam loved that one, and they're happy about that. They're
Cam
talking
Brown
about
saying
that
to
one.
Luke he wants him to throw it down there.
Like his older brother Ben would have done.
Oh, my word, Ben would have thrown that down, my word.
But Ben would have had to have a run up from the other baseline. We'll get to that later. As Stanwicks goes inside, gets a double pump, kicks out to Jojo Peters. He's missed that one. Rebound by Hargrave, capable rebounder. and they're going to have a look at that. It's definitely that way. That one's going to be a push, and that'll be the 5th foul. Yep, they'll go to the line for 2. Hargrave heading to the line again. He'll put it 31 points up here. And really, Glenn, I mean, we've watched a lot of men's basketball this year. This margin is not fitting the competition these two sides had all year.
No, not at all. I think, as we've talked about tonight with Cal Barker out, just that big one. It'd be interesting to see what the game would be like if Cal played. However, Phoenix have played so well that, even with Cal here, it might have been hard for them to bridge this gap.
Yeah, 31-point margin. It's going to be 32 soon if Hargrave can shoot true. Looks like that one's not good. It isn't. So he's going to go to the line, potentially make it 32. I mean, as you mentioned, no Cal Barker a big out. You've had Cunningham and Marston try and fill the gap. Boyd Heather to try and do it as well. But is Cal Barker a 32-point man? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because they beat him the last time when Cal played. But Robbie, and I think Robbie might have played that game. So I think
no, I don't think he was there.
No, Robbie did. He got tossed.
Oh, he did too. Yes, my apologies.
And it goes on momentum as well. You've got Jack Stamwick, who's an amazing shooter. He normally gets his 30 a game, 25 to 30 a game, and Liam Smith does. So they've made it really hard for Glenorchy to get open shots tonight.
As Peters cleans up the mess there. We're back inside. We're just at 30 points, actually. 86-56. Crowd has really died off here.
Yeah, it has.
A few flowing towards the bar. But, I mean, again, can't stress enough. Across the board here, Robbie Inch is certainly the MVP. But, I mean, what's it mean? This Hobart squad missing out last year as Masunda to ice the cake. Done.
Yeah.
That's over. But, I mean, Masunda...
Cool as a cucumber.
Cool as a cucumber. The MVP last year probably could be in contention this year off half a season. I mean, how do you sit there? Nearly a trouble there as Cam Brown takes it away. That was a foul. He thought he got away.
I think it'd be really hard to go past like a Jack Stanwicks for an MVP. He had such a good season. Liam Smith had such a good season. You've got Matty Young. You've got Jacob Richards. So
Elijah Pawson.
So that 5 really, to me, stood out.
As Luke comes on for older brother Cam, he heads out. I mean, as Dwayne Davies, if he comes in with Corey, I'll be shocked. He does. It's a brother switch.
And Terry only played 11 games, so if Terry had played the full season, he probably would have been close to MVP again. I just think Jack Stanwicks has probably been the best player this year, but we'll wait and see what happens with the MVP vote.
Certainly a redemption season for Hobart, who were bundled out unceremoniously and certainly out of fashion against Kingborough last year. They made it back to the final. They probably should have made it last year.
A lot of contact. And that's going to
be. Is that a charge on Marston?
Yes, it is.
Charge on Marston. Luke Brown gets up.
Block.
2 substitutions. Dwayne Davies hit the deck. He's had a pretty good night tonight. Kylie's going to be pretty happy with him as well. But, I mean, this is a redemption season for Hobart. They had many times last year, had their chance in the prelim final, a couple of games to really get them the advantage, a couple of games this year, they've probably squandered. They'll be happy with this performance tonight.
And Terry played for Glenorchy last year.
Ironically.
So,
I mean, how much the tables turn. I mean, this is a Luke Ball St Kilda sort of effort. I mean, 2009 plays with St Kilda, they lose the final. He plays 2 grand finals against them the next year, gets a win. Ronald, just quickly, I mean, what does it mean for this Hobart group to, redeem such a bad miss last year to come forward, win 3 or 4 grand finals tonight? That's got to be confidence boosting as a Cam.
Big foul there. Didn't go for the ball. That probably should have been.
Massive slap from Hargraves. You can hear that from up here.
He's not worried about it. Trust me on that. He's fierce and competitive.
And
he was just bumped into Jojo as he goes too as well. But, I mean, just quickly back to you, Ronnie.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that build as a Cam? 3 or 4 grand finals, redemption from last year, development coming through. I mean, that's a big positive.
It is a big positive. And knowing some of the guys on this ball team, redemption is huge for them because they don't like losing. They love winning. And now that they've got that winning culture back and that premiership culture back, there's no doubt they're always striving and being hungry for success, and that's what's driven them this year.
2-11 on the shot clock, Geordie.
The thing is, though, have they got many more players that come up from the 2s to go to the 1s? That's the interesting thing.
Yeah,
like how much more?
How long can the old guards stick around?
How long can Corey Davey dominate in the middle? He probably can. He probably can. The way he's been playing, he can keep dominating for the next 5 years, as CJ Johnson did. But there's going to be a time where these players think, I've had enough. I'm too sore.
There's Masunda again, missing the inches. We're inside 2 minutes here. 91-57, a 34-point margin in what has been essentially in the second half a one-sided game. Luke Brown's missed that one.
It's been a great team effort from Phoenix. Probably their best team effort this year, I think.
Masunda just put on skates by Liam Smith. Connor Smith, I should say, as Jojo Peters finishes there, but
That's probably Johannes Peters' best game of the season as well, surprisingly.
yeah, he's certainly been up there.
Really had a crack.
He has had pretty good games against this mob. Again, just being able to stretch the floor. Dwayne Davey with the ball inside 90 seconds now, and Hobart are just going to run through the motions, let it play out. Liam Smith trying to guard Masunda. Dwayne Davey with that fall-down jump shot's probably not going to take a shot here. I'd be shocked if he does. Cut to Luke Brown, goes inside. Unlucky to get the finish there. Looked like it wanted to pay off. 1:08 remaining here, and Glenorchy are just bringing it through, going through the motions, and everyone knows this game's over. There's no doubt about it. Stanwicks for three has missed that one, and again, we're going to see Inches with the ball. Glenn, you played against him as a junior. You see him come through as a senior. Do you think Robbie goes out in a high, or do you think he continues going?
Oh, mate, he'll probably play state league, but yeah.
Oh, nice pass as Jojo finishes strong again.
It's just a matter of family time for Robbie, and he'll step aside if there's a junior that can come through. That's the sort of person he is.
Absolutely, yeah, no, for sure.
So as we come down here, the last 39 seconds of SBL 2019, Hobart are going to wrap this up. They're 30 points up at the moment. There's consensus finish on the game here. Robbie Inches will be our MVP. Hargrave fouled. And I think Stanwicks is keen on that. They've thrown the arms up. That looked pretty clear contact to me.
And that was one of those shots that Geordie, although he got fouled, he probably didn't need to take. But it was a bit of rush of blood.
When you're up by 30, just
I'd
play
like
that
to see
one
Geordie
out.
do a dunk.
Play the motions. Yeah, play the motions out. You just go through it. We've got...
And he's had a great season. We've got to give credit to Geordie. Sometimes people are a bit harsh on old Geordie, but he's had a good season this year. The last week he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He really was great. He won the game for Phoenix. So, and he's a great young bloke. I've spent a lot of time in training with the Huskies this year. He can shoot. He's just got to develop a bit more of his game and just keep working away.
Absolutely.
30.7 remaining. 32 points is our margin here. 93-61. Hargraves missed two.
Come on, Geordie, don't let me down, mate.
He
I
has
just pumped you up, buddy.
This happens every time. Cam Brown for three. He's missed that. There's that rebound we talked about.
Go Geordie. He'll shoot. He'll shoot.
You've got to dribble this out, surely. You're inside
No,
the
they
shot
can't.
clock.
They
He's done
can't
the right
dribble it
thing
out.
this time and actually passed off to Masunda.
Yeah, they can. They're going to dribble this out. It's not going to happen.
It's going to be a turnover.
It's game over. They're pretty bloody happy here.
Masunda will turn it over because he knows there's no stats for turnovers.
No, he won't. It's
6, 5, 4, 3.
It's that game clock going. They're going to let it run it. Worst, it might run out of bounds. Won't matter.
No.
Game is. Whoa, hang on. It's a shot clock violation. Are they going to tell them to run it down?
Yeah,
No,
they've
won't
got to
do
run
that.
it. The
They
bench
won't
want
do
to
that.
run it. Everyone's
Jack won't do that, surely.
No, AJ Johnson's called it.
called it. He's called it.
Yeah,
Hey,
let
I
it
think
run.
the refereeing tonight was really good as well on all games, so I give
Yes.
credit to the referees. I thought in this game here they were great. It's a pity whoever got the tech foul.
Believe it was Terry.
It was Terry, which is very uncharacteristically for Terry. The women's game, the referee was fantastic. The men's twos and women's twos was really good. So it's been a great night of basketball, and I'm just glad to see all the juniors stepping up so much tonight and this year.
Yeah.
93-61, our final scoreline, final game of the 2019 SBL season. Hobart premiers in the men's competition on behalf of Ronald Riggs, Glenn Fairfield and Felix Kinghorn-Lewis. I think I've got that right there.
Yes.
We do. It's been another presentation of the West Coast Ball Connection on behalf of the Hobart Senior Basketball League. That'll do us for the 2019 season. We'll see you in 2020.